Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nello Reads channel. Today we'll be going through some r/ChoosingBeggars stories. Our first story of the day comes from DJ Devon 3. Wanted $800 worth of plywood for free, and fake cat, and my car. Everyone knows the cost of plywood is sky high right now at around $70 to $80 per sheet. The roofers just finished removing all the old shingles and installed underlayment. They all left for the day and will be back tomorrow to install the shingles after the inspector checks the underlayment and one required row of installed shingles. I hear my doorbell ring, then someone pounding on my door continuously like it's an emergency. I answer it thinking it would be the inspector or an emergency. Instead, it's two old ladies in their 60s and an old Cadillac parked behind my car in the driveway. They asked if they could have the 11 sheets of 3x4 plywood stacked behind the tree. It's not a trivial amount they were asking for. I explained the roofers haven't finished the roof yet, and what isn't used they will be taking back. They looked surprised that I'm having roof work done, even though they are literally standing right next to a 20-foot dumpster by my front door filled with old torn shingles. I mean, they had to walk around the dumpster to bang on my door. Then one of the women said, "You can give us 2 sheets. You're not using them all. We want to build a porch." The audacity put me on my heels for a moment, but I was kind to them because they claimed to live a block away and just moved in 2 months ago. Again, I politely said they couldn't have any of my plywood, but Home Depot has plenty for sale. They said Home Depot wants like $80 a sheet though. To which I replied, "I know, that's how much the roofing company charged me per sheet." That seemed to shut them up, and they started walking back to their car. I have a fake cat figurine near my front door. It's quite lifelike at a distance. Then the butch brunette looked around and asked, "How much for the cat figurine?" At this point, I'm starting to get upset with their pushy behavior and treating my property like a flea market. I say, "Sorry, it's not for sale, have a nice day," and close the door. I watched through the peephole to see them drive away and thought that was the end of the bizarre encounter. Later that night, as I'm leaving to go to the convenience store, I see a sticky note on the window of my project car in the driveway. It reads, "Wanted to buy car," with a phone number. They must have come back at night when I was at the store. My fake cat now lives next to the back door, moved all the lumber to the backyard, and I will be setting up security cameras. I honestly don't even know what to think about this one. The fact that one of the women said, "Hey, you're not using all of that, you can just give us some." Like, what? How would she even know if he was going to use it all or not? There's no way she could know. The best part has to be that they came back to try and buy his car too. Like, what's next? Are they gonna come back tomorrow and try to buy his front door? Our second story comes from Musical Nut 2407. Guy asks for free food because we delivered his food earlier than expected. For some context, we've dealt with this man for about a month or two. He was calling about his order getting messed up, which isn't uncommon for takeout, but was accusing us of trying to kill his mom because of serious allergies that weren't mentioned with his order. We explained that we didn't know and that we'd fix it. He still yelled at us for what felt like 20 minutes, and after demanded that we'd be there in 10 minutes with his food. It was gonna take like 15 to 20 minutes to remake and deliver it. All in all, very weird guy. So when me and my friend saw his order again recently, we just knew tonight was gonna be long. Coming back from my previous deliveries, she told me that he called again and demanded his next order be free. She asked why, thinking either the food wasn't good, it was missing something, or it was extremely late. No, he wanted a free meal because his meal tonight came 20 minutes earlier than expected. Like, is this a bad thing? I don't get it. What I don't understand is why my boss is actually gonna give him a free meal next time. I personally wish I could get places to deliver food early. Without fail, 90% of the time I order something, it always seems to get to my house late and cold. In this restaurant's case, I won't be surprised if this guy tries something like this again. The fact that he's getting a free meal because his food was early is just ridiculous. If I were the boss, I'd say, "Thanks for your order, please never order from us again." Our next story comes from Prior Lobster 5240. "Don't have cash? That's fine, I'll just take your card. I was getting gas once when I lived in Dallas when this guy comes up to me and says he needs money for gas so he can go pick his daughter up from school. Side note, it's 6 p.m. Most schools schools let out between 3 and 4, but some kids stay late for extracurriculars, so I'm willing to give him a little leeway. I explained I don't carry cash, sorry. And he says that's fine, I can just hand him my credit card and he'll go into the store to pay for gas. No, I'm not giving you my card, dude. I asked him which pump he was parked at because I was willing to walk into the store myself and put $5 on the pump for his car. And that's when he lost it and just screamed at me, "Give me your bleeping card, B-word." And that's when I opened my car door and let my 130-pound Great Dane jump out of the car, scared the crap out of him, and he took off. P.S. My dog would pee on herself before actually hurting someone, but she looks very intimidating. She comes in really handy. So first, the OP added a picture of the dog, which is adorable, so I'll put that up on screen now. But second, stories like this are kind of sad because you can definitely tell the guy has some sort of problem. I'm hoping whoever he is gets some help. The fourth story comes from KimDV95. Homeless person asks for coffee, then tries to trick me to buy everything he can carry. This happened a few years ago, but something reminded me of this story, so I thought I would share. Off we go. One morning, I had to travel by train, and at the entrance of the train station stood a guy in dirty clothes with holes in them, not wearing shoes. So I assumed he was a homeless person. When I approached the entrance, the guy asked me if I could buy him a cup of coffee at the little store in the train station. I had some time to spare before I had to go to my train, so I said sure, and as I walked into the store, he followed me inside. I wanted to go stand in line to pay for his coffee, but the guy walked to some shelves and started getting all kinds of bags of potato chips, then walked to me and pushed them in my hands. I told him I'm not buying all of that, and he could choose one of the bags and that would be that. He chose one bag, but didn't put any of the other ones back, so I walked out of line to the shelf to put the bags away. I turned around and I saw him at another shelf, and he started to grab a lot of other snacks, drinks and stuff. Like his arms were completely full of stuff, he could barely hold on to all of it. I walked towards him to tell him again I wouldn't be buying him any of that, but he tried to push the stuff in my hands. I took a step back so he couldn't push anything in my hands again. I told him in a clearly annoyed voice that because of how he acted, he wouldn't get anything else besides the coffee I promised him, and I put the bag of potato chips he chose away as well. Then I went to go stand in line again. He gave me a foul look and went outside of the store. I bought the coffee, and when I gave it to him, he didn't even look at me. He was clearly pissed off. I just walked away. The whole situation made me really uncomfortable. It wouldn't surprise me if he threw the coffee away when I was gone. I think he tries to trick people into buying him lots of stuff because not everyone has the courage to say no when they are put on the spot like that. I think what the OP said at the end of this story is spot on. I can almost guarantee this guy pulls this trick on people all the time and actually gets away with it. But the way the homeless guy acted, even after getting the coffee, was childish. It's like a spoiled kid who got an Xbox for Christmas when he wanted a PlayStation or something. The fifth story comes from Katifko. He wanted to deduct 50% of the hauling cost from the agreed upon sale price. I was selling a year-old couch for $180, original cost $600, due to a move. I put the couch in price on Facebook Marketplace after my research of similar items. I got 20 plus responses in a few hours, but most people wanted to get it on the weekend. One guy offered me $120 and could pick it up in 2 hours as he had rented a U-Haul truck. I was like, this is okay, the earlier it goes the better. I told the dude that it'll take 2 people to move this to his truck, and he acknowledged. Here's how it went. The dude came alone to pick it up, and he asked me to help move it into his truck. He acted surprised when I said no. I have back issues and avoid lifting heavy stuff. He was like, you said 2 people, and he assumed I would be the second person. Okay, after I said no, I cannot, he went out of my house and came back again in 40 minutes with another person, hired from something called Dolly. He transferred me the cash and started moving the couch with another person. When I checked the amount, it was $95. I asked him if he made a mistake, to which he told me, because you did not help, I hired someone from an app called Dolly and deducted $25 from what I'm paying you. Whoa, I said to him, we agreed on $120, which was already $60 less than asking, to which he replied, it's logical. I paid for a mover person since you didn't help, and now the couch is in your driveway. What are you gonna do anyway? Move it back with your broken back? I had to ask him to leave the couch on my driveway and refunded his money and asked him to leave. I then sold the couch to someone else on Facebook. I reduced the cost to $100 with a condition if someone can come pick up on the same day, and a few people agreed, and one of them took it in like 30 minutes. The dude ended up losing $50, which he paid to the extra hand and left. I only have 1 review on my Facebook seller profile, and it's 1 star. I know who gave it. I can't imagine traveling all that way, spending all that money, and then giving up on all of it for just $25. Like, what was this guy thinking? You have the truck, a second guy, and the couch is right there. Just pay him what you owe him and go home. Our next story comes from Silk and Whisper. Choosing Beggar wants to live with me for free and chuck out other persons so they can have 2 bedrooms. So I, 34F, live in a small 3-bedroom house with my mom. I have some health problems and my mom couldn't afford to live by herself, so it works for the 2 of us. I have the large bedroom as I spend a lot of time in there due to health, and my mom has one of the box rooms. The other room is another box room, and at the time it just had a bed and wardrobe. So my sister has been suffering with mental health problems for a long time. She couldn't work and was going to become homeless. She demanded that she move in with me completely rent-free, and because she couldn't stand to live in just a tiny box room, our mom would have to move out and live with her boyfriend, who she didn't want to live with. My family has always given in to this sister's every demand. I have never given in to any, and my mom was willing to move in with her boyfriend. I told my sister that if she needed to move into my house for support, then she absolutely could, but I could not afford to cover all the bills and mortgage for more than a month, so she would either have to pay the 50% or our mom would just continue to live there. Side note, I hated living with my sister growing up. She was filthy, never cleaned up after herself, and played loud music until the early hours. So me agreeing for her to live with us was actually huge for me. My sister had a massive go at me, saying I only cared about money and was a terrible person. She tried to get my mom to convince me to let her move in rent-free for as long as she wanted, but I did not give in. My sister then cut me out of her life for the best part of a year, blocked me on all social media and phone apps. Having this break from her made me realize how much stress she was adding to my life, and I have no relationship with her anymore. Edited to add, my sister didn't become homeless. She had many options available to her, but none of them had met her standards, and she has had treatment for her mental health multiple times. It was more a case of long-term management of mental health condition rather than one that was undiagnosed with no support or treatment. So I'm glad the sister got treatment for her issues, but having those issues is no excuse for acting the way she did. Maybe one day she'll realize she was in the wrong, but based on how the rest of the family followed her every demand, I kinda doubt it. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and feel free to check them out on Reddit in the description below. If you haven't already done so, make sure to drop a like, and I'll see you in the next video.